So it looks like the Raptors are going to receive a nice mid-season jolt courtesy of Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. What's up, everybody? It is JJ Buckets here. I'm coming at you with a quick, more or less quick update today on just some bigger, policy changes coming from the Canadian government that are going to give a lift to the Toronto Raptors midway through the season. And who knows, potentially, give them a nice little advantage to carry out throughout the season, hopefully in terms of making playoffs and so on and so forth. Before I get fully into it though, just make sure you leave a like on the video. It helps the algorithm out a ton, and I really appreciate when you folks do it. And if you're new here, hit subscribe as well. There's a sub goal, been trying to reach it, been a little slacking of late, if I'm being honest. So this is me trying to get back on track, and I need the help getting back on track. And with all that being said, let's hop into the video. Beginning January 15th, any player in the NBA that is not fully vaccinated will be unable to enter Canada to play their NBA games. This is potentially very relevant when it comes to the Raptors and obviously their games this season back home here in Toronto. So this is kind of something that I think we were somewhat anticipating at the start of the season. We know obviously Canada has been a lot more strict, I would say, on their policies when it comes to the pandemic response than the states have been. So when the season was rolling around, a lot of people anticipated that any player or any individual really that didn't have, that full vaccination status would have issues with stuff like this, like entering Canada and potentially, being a part of the NBA season and being a part of games where they have to play in Toronto. And at the time, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, there was an exemption granted, kind of similarly to what they did with the MLB players, where even if you're not fully vaccinated, the individuals were being let into the country to play their games, to do their jobs. Now, not so much. And January 15th is kind of a good time, I guess, too, because that'll be a little bit further into the season. Obviously, the Raptors right now are kind of hanging around, I want to say the middle, but obviously it's a little bit closer towards the bottom of the Eastern Conference, but they're still within genuine striking distance of the playoffs. Now, if the Raptors manage to hang around that same spot and kind of hang around 500 starting January 15th, you may get games where key individuals are going to be missing from those matchups in Toronto, which naturally would give you a good competitive edge. Now, it's obviously unclear which NBA players are still unvaccinated or partially vaccinated, but whatever the case is there, if they remain that, and if they remain either partially or just completely unvaccinated, they're not going to be able to play their games in Toronto. And that is huge for potentially just stealing a game or two that could get you into the play-in, could get you into the playoffs. So, as I was saying at the beginning of the video, Justin Trudeau definitely he threw a big assist to the Raptors on this one. And for a team like the Raptors that's obviously young and trying to compete, trying to make the playoffs potentially and just get some good experience for a lot of these younger guys, this does help. This does help a lot. And again, it's something that honestly, even I was kind of surprised that at the beginning of the season they didn't immediately clamp down with these kind of restrictions, even though obviously they just granted that same kind of exemption, I guess, to the MLB players before the NBA season had started. I guess the difference to me was with the MLB players, with Rogers Center or Skydome. No, it is Rogers Center now. Okay, with the Rogers Center, you have the potential to kind of open up the roof, make an outdoor environment where obviously COVID and the pandemic is less likely to spread and whatnot. But, with indoor games like you have at the Scotiabank Arena, sorry, I keep getting these names jumbled in my head, I want to call it the ACC and everything. That's kind of why you had the little hesitation there, but regardless, yeah, it's obviously an indoor environment, and transmission indoors versus outdoors is obviously a lot more risky. So I thought it was genuinely a little surprising in the first place that the exemption was granted, and now it will be the case that they are just fully pulling the rug out from under that, and just if you don't have the full vaccination status, tough luck. That is going to be another thing that adds to the Raptors' home court advantage at this point. So, is this a positive for the team? Absolutely. Obviously, like I said, we don't know which players in the NBA still are unvaccinated or partially vaccinated, which also just would not work. Like, you wouldn't be able to get in with one dose. But you could have some potential good role players, maybe even some star players, who knows, missing games in Toronto and just giving them an easier outing than they otherwise would have had, which, you know, the longer the season goes on, the better the chance that we'll have on impacting the Raptors season and helping them steal a few wins here and there. So, major W. That's more or less going to do it for me here today. It was just for the most part, this video was just a quick update on the situation to get everybody in the loop who wasn't in the loop about this policy change, and then also just giving a little quick hitters on my thoughts as to how it would impact. So that's pretty much it. Yeah. If you're new here, subscribe to the channel. I very much so appreciate it. Trying to hit 1K. Took the week off last week because I was celebrating my birthday. I know, TMI and whatnot, but it was great. Had a good time. Like I said earlier, like the video as well. It goes a long way. Really helps out the channel. Really helps out the video with regards to being seen through YouTube. So if you're doing that for me, thank you so much. Truly, greatly. I very much so appreciate it. Other than that, that's really going to do it for me here today, and I will see everybody next time.